Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Perform on budget or get sacked, President warns. Governors, clerics raise hope in New Year messages. First Lady visits SACKED. Dangote Refinery gets fourth crude consignment. Plateau killings a genocide. PDP LP in battle over opposition rule. Analysts project average naira exchange of 919 naira to the dollar. Over 168,000 travelers benefit from transportation fare rebate in 10 days. And why my detractors are unrelenting, says Fubara. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Major headline. So
Major headline.
President, announced yesterday to his cabinet members and ministers and heads of agencies that better shape up or ship out, according to how the nation carried it. He said a 28.27 trillion budget was passed, and 10 trillion of that amount goes to capital expenditure. Our recurrent expenditure will be 8.8 trillion, and will service debt with 8.2 trillion, have statutory transfers of 1.7 trillion. And he used the opportunity to comment the National Assembly. He said that he sent the budget November for a reason, early in November for a reason, because he wanted them to iron out issues. He said he sent a 27 point something trillion, and the House added 1.2 trillion to it for effectiveness. And he's appreciative of the fact that all those nitty-gritty were ironed out on time. So he commended the National Assembly for a good synergy with the executive, and used the opportunity to reel out what the MDAs or the ministries under him are expected to do. They're supposed to give monthly reports of effectiveness of their budgets applications. So each MDA should apply what they have been allocated to them, diligently, and give periodic reports of their successes. Any of such a laxity on your part, we never complete, do.
Go home.
Go and rest, you're not serious.
All right, so our First Lady, Senator Ajuri Ahmed Tinubu, has visited ailing Nollywood actor Mr. SACKED at the National Hospital in Abuja. She was actually there initially to see the first baby herself and the wife of the Vice President, Ajuri Ngelale, the Minister of Women Affairs, Barrister Uju Kennedy, the wife of the Minister for Works, Mrs. Rachel Umahi, and wife of the Minister of State for Defense, Mrs. Bello Matawale, and they were there to celebrate the first baby of the year in Abuja. And while she was there, I think she was informed that SACKED was also in the hospital.
Was in the same.
Yeah, so she went there to see him. She spent about 15 minutes, and he had to, if you recall the reports, he had slumped in the toilet and was rushed to the hospital. His video was being circulated online while he was, which was really, really unfounded and wrong.
Yeah.
But we're grateful that the First Lady stopped there to see him, and he has recovered. He's now conscious, and he's still under recovery. So hopefully he'll be much better soon.
Yes, I have a story from Plateau State. The governor is talking. They say, according to Nation, says openly lamenting the Christmas Eve attacks. I'll just read directly his quote instead. So the governor says that. So in his New Year's address, he talks about a year of hope in the midst of conflict, a year of deliverance, restoration, and progress. But then he also went back to how 2023 ended in many communities in Plateau State. He says that he was emphasizing that these attacks are not, they're not farmer-header clashes as is being traditionally just talked about. He says this is about genocide. He said that the unprovoked and simultaneous attacks in different villages were premeditated and coordinated. This series of attacks on our people are a clear case of criminality, insurgency, and terrorism, and must be seen and handled in that manner if we must succeed in halting this wanton destruction of lives and property. He says it's a misrepresentation of facts to describe these unprovoked, needless attacks on our people as farmer-header clash. And, he commiserated with the people and saying that they're working with the federal government to see the end to this, and bring the people who have perpetrated this to book. This is such a tough, it's really tough. I mean, Plateau State is in the news many times because of these sort of attacks. And I just hope that we will finally see the end of this and finally that we will see prosecution, we'll see thorough investigation, and people will be named and people will pay for these crimes. It's enough of hiding behind farmer-header clashes. It makes no sense that a group of people can come into communities, shoot for 2 days. Hundreds of people will tell you that there were 3-month-old babies with gunshot wounds, mothers, children, fathers, livelihoods, properties just destroyed. And then they go. And then we say they came and they left.
You know, I watched this on Netflix. I don't think I watched it. War, I think it's War, Wrath and Revenge.
War,
Ebony Life.
Yes.
I watch it because that even gave you a better perspective.
What was going on?
The possible political undertones to some of these things we see when these things happen. So it's really painful, especially from Plateau State. It really touches home. But this is something that should affect every Nigerian. Keep hearing, the only news I hear from Plateau State is the same story, and it's really painful.
But it raises my concern on resources. You know, sometimes when you see war happening like this, there's pilfering of resources. I think that the security agencies should start to investigate other possible causes as well.
We all need to speak up here. So,
you have a story
I have a story in the nation. This story has been dear to my heart since the federal government had announced they were going to give a rebate in transportation prices. So I had to send my drivers on errands because they went to the east to, also confirm. But what I'm getting is they are designated buses that actually have the opportunity to give all of this. And the Committee on the Implementation of End-of-Year Transportation Subsidy Program of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Dr. Dele Alake, was the one who said that over 160,000 passengers have so far benefited from the program. As a matter of fact, it's 163 passengers, 878, Nigerians. And he said that he was the one that announced the progress report yesterday. He said, reminded us how on December 19, the president had approved free transportation on the Nigerian Railway Corporation routes. That's for the rail. And also 50% subsidy on transportation fares for passengers on 30 routes serviced by bus operators under the umbrella association, the Association of Luxury Bus Owners of Nigeria. So if you had taken those luxury buses, you would have gotten it because now they have a number. And it's good that they gave us the number. They made the promise. They fulfilled the promise. They gave us the number. We can also verify, and this is a good one. And, the president did that to just make sure that Nigerians, a bit of them are still okay.
Okay, the Punch. APC defends federal government as Labour warns against failed promises. President signs budget as National Assembly raises lawmakers' allocation to 344 billion naira. Hoodlums still kill Lagos police officer in Adamawa. Jagba, UK stops Nigerian students, others from bringing dependents. Lagos to begin Lekki Airports 2024, says Commissioner. Dangote Refinery gets fresh 1 million crude barrels. Christmas Eve massacre, not farmer-header conflict, government insists. And FG insists on electricity subsidy amid tariff review. Okay, let's take one story before we're going to break.
It's the Jagba. So the Home Office of the United Kingdom, yesterday, January 1, did New Year to us and announced that it has commenced the implementation of its policy banning Nigerian students and other overseas students from bringing independence via the study visa route. And when they posted this on Twitter, Nigerians, of course, welcome its session, but let me take the details. They said that they're also fully committed to a decisive court on migration, so students will no longer be able to bring in family members to the UK to study, but there's an exemption for postgraduate research or government-funded scholarship students. So those ones are exempted. All of us, government go fund us.
We always find a way.
Oh my
government,
God.
their antenna don't raise. Government are...
They put in law to stop Nigerian students and other students studying from bringing dependents except specific circumstances. And they also said that the UK government aims to bring down immigration because immigration now stands at 1 million. And under their new rule now, they will remove the permission for international students to switch out of the student route and into work routes before their studies have been completed to prevent misuse. They also say they will clamp down on these agents who are unscrupulous education agents who make use of inappropriate application to sell immigration and not education.
Okay, we have to go on a break. When we come back, we continue with our review.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.